Concluding my brief series of 3D freebies is Plan D's Free D1. This one is a bit unusual as a freebie as it isn't available on YouTube, but in the form of an actual Blu-ray disc. If you happen to have a burner, you could also download the ISO and make your own disc. Otherwise, as long as you live somewhere they ship to, you can have this pre-made disc shipped to you for the price of shipping. And what you'll get is a smartly printed disc with about 40 minutes of 3D conversion delight. One complaint, though, is the cover picture has no connection to anything on the disc. We do not get to see the anaglyph alien in 3D. Now, Plan D is meant to be the minor league counterpart to its big brother iPop, promising enjoyable but less polished conversions. This is intended as a demonstration disc to show that the new label, Plan D, is providing respectable, quality 3D conversions at a bargain price, despite the streamlined approach. What's remarkable is after watching this demonstration, I would never have guessed that this was in any way inferior to their other releases. There are flaws, but finding them is like playing a game of Where's Waldo. You really do have to be looking for it. Occasionally, you may notice something a bit more glaring like this light beam, which seems to follow the profile of the wall. However, I did not notice it on my first watch, perhaps because it was significantly brighter than the wall, and brightness does tend to be perceived closer, so my eye was just willing to give me the illusion. Other than that, the most you'll find is this or that occasionally flickering out of place, a bit of background rubbing into the cut lines around the foreground, but it's often of the quality where it's tough to call out, such as the writing on this window. I wasn't quite sure if it consistently followed the glass, asking myself if I was seeing some discrepancies or just imagining them, but importantly, nothing that took me out of the program. It's far easier to point out the good, such as the steam flowing convincingly around the room. Included on the disc is a conversion of a very old strip of Frankenstein, and it's presented in considerable depth. What's notable here is the film has lots of defects and flutter, but because those defects are represented in both eyes, it doesn't really interfere with the 3D viewing. It is probably easier to watch this than it would have been to watch a real surviving 3D film from that period. The embryonic birth of Frankenstein's monster makes for some terrifying imagery. Seeing its skeletal form in a 3D shape gives so much more strength to the concept of a yolk taking monstrous form and growing. It has a great moment in a living room that features a large mirror, giving the beast his first look at himself. Although I couldn't quite make up my mind if the reflection was perspective perfect, there was no doubt that the added depth did a marvelous job of bringing this room to life. And the disc ends off with some LIttle Rascals. It seemed to be done as well as anyone could hope for. The kids seem to have cleaner edges than the Stooges did. I didn't really pick up on any background warping. The worst I could say about this reel is a couple of shots had backgrounds that, on close inspection, looked like layered cardboard, but nothing that interrupts or takes away from the overall narrative. And again, I feel like I'm looking for problems. It's a marvelous job of 3D conversion that never felt like it was a lesser effort, though my general contentment with these rough edges does make me wonder if we are entering in the MP3 era of 3D, where the finer details may be getting lost, but the overall result is so undeniably good enough that industry standards may start to regress to the lowered expectations. To that end, I think one of the great achievements of the iPop endeavor is taking the bleeding edge technology out of the demo reels, the homebrew pirates, and giving it a proper home. It's not just a technical demonstration, but a commercial one, and at a bit of volume as well. Whoever tells the story of 3D in 50 years will have to reserve a chapter for iPop's Andrew Murchie and his merry men of stereographers.